Good evening, folks. This is the regular meeting of the Blight Review Board for Wednesday, September 14. It's 5:30 p.m. We are in room 206 of Town Hall. Thank you all for getting here promptly today. Having called the meeting to order, let me ask for a motion to approve the draft minutes of the meeting of July 13, 2022. Thank you, Mr. Burke. I have a second. Thank you, Mr. Washaka. Any comments, concerns, questions, edits? Then let me call for a vote. Those in favor of approving, please indicate by raising your hand. And that's unanimous. Thanks very much. Okay. So we have a discussion item on the agenda here, and let me turn to Mr. Burke, ask if he would propose a motion in that regard.
Yes, I'd like to propose a motion that we recommend to the Board of Selectmen that we expand the jurisdiction of this board to include commercial and business properties.
Thank you.
Second.
It is seconded. Okay, let's discuss. Thank you. Just as a preliminary matter, I've been nosing around to be sure we might have jurisdiction statutorily, legally, et cetera. Maybe you have too, Mr. Burke. My key resource is the town of Fairfield, which I know has in fact been exercising that type of jurisdiction, blight review type jurisdiction over commercial properties. But what I realized also in looking at their charter is that they actually have two separate ordinances. One is actually on blight, but that is distinct from a separate chapter in their charter for unfit properties and structures. So the municipal authority seems to be in one hand related to blight, which is toward residential properties, but there is broad jurisdiction to control the public health and related issues of all properties, including commercial and business properties. So I do believe that if we would like it and sought it, we are authorized to have that type of jurisdiction over commercial and business properties. That, of course, is subject to council's final view and would be drafting any such ordinance if the selectmen ask that it move forward. So, but Mr. Burke, you want to pick up the ball?
Yes, so I agree with your assessment, and I've had some preliminary talks with town council, and while there's state statute that relates to commercial blight seems to lean towards residential purposes in those commercial properties, there has also been court cases that have said that even though the state statute says residential, local municipalities have an ability to be more restrictive, which would then include non-residential commercial properties. What you can't do is be less stringent than your higher authority body, but you can be more prescribed on a local level. So, and there's been case law on that. So from a legal matter, we think we're on pretty solid ground for expansion. And this, to be colloquial, is just another club to have in our bag. And there may never be a need to use it, or there may be some, but I think what you want to avoid as a town, as a municipality, is being in a situation where, oh, here's a problem, but we don't have any way to address it, and it's going to take us a great period to acquire the means to address it. So that's really the way that I look at it. And again, obviously, such a matter would require the approval of the full Board of Selectmen, and I imagine the RTM as well, but I think we're the proper authority to make at least an initial recommendation for consideration.
Good, thank you. Okay. Mr. Washeka.
Yeah, and I guess I maybe support that logic, and I just, when you think about someone who's driving around who says, why do we have this in our town? It doesn't look very attractive. Certainly to the fact that it's commercial or residential doesn't make any difference. It just looks unsafe, bad, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I think we should definitely be making the recommendation.
Good. I know Mr. Etter has a view.
I do. I think this is an area we shouldn't tackle at this point in time. because I think we don't have the horsepower, the person power to do it, because we still have an extensive, and have always had, a number of blighted properties that we're dealing with and grappling with and trying to bring to resolution. And I just am uncomfortable that this would be another item put on our plates.
Okay, Mr. Washington.
Can I, just to address that point, look, I think, I mean, I certainly am sensitive to that argument, but I think making the change, to Mr. Burke's point, it's just giving us the opportunity to do it, right? If there were 100 such items on this list of residential properties, we might say we've got to sort of set a higher bar as to what we're kind of going to evaluate. And again, it seems to me that you could have 100 really barely blighted properties that are on this list, and then something that is practically a Superfund site with the federal government coming in and declaring it unsafe, but yet we couldn't do anything with it because it was commercial. So that, to me, would argue for making the change.
And I think your point is very well taken, and I imagine that at the Board of Selectmen level and at the RTM level, the question's going to be asked, well, what's the score on this? How much will this cost? Will it require an expansion of staff, and what's the budget impact? And that's a fair question. It's one that will be asked and answered, and it'll be part of the voting motivation, I would believe, at the Board of Selectmen and at the RTM. But I think, at this, level, we don't have to make a judgment on what the cost would be. I think at this level, this is more of a proposed. This is something that we think we need, something that we would like to like to have, and whether or not those other bodies determine that we can afford it or do it reasonably will certainly be discussed.
As you say, with the clubs in the bag, we're now teeing it up, and we'll see where this takes us, right?
Exactly.
Mr. Lamolt, any view you'd like to express?
I would certainly go along with your second line.
Okay. And my 2 cents worth is, I don't see a reason we should not have that type of jurisdiction available to us for some future need. I think we have a good process now established. We have good staff telling us how to move forward in many cases. We have an explicit ordinance that I think is very helpful so that we know how to move forward. And I don't think we'd be reinventing the wheel if we happen to be dealing with commercial properties as opposed to residential properties. So at this point, I agree that we ought to add this to our resources to protect folks in this town from potential public health hazards and other issues with commercial properties as we do with residential.
Do we at this point in time even know if there are situations that would warrant our investigation?
That wasn't the motivation for suggesting that we expand the statute. I don't personally have a thought of any particular property that would be the subject of a complaint at this point. This is just about trying to get a tool.
George, has this been raised before?
I don't know whether it was considered when this blight ordinance was first passed a number of years ago. Frankly, I wasn't a part of that process, so I don't know.
I wasn't part of the process, but I was involved since then. I don't think it was ever brought up.
No.
Not that I recall.
Mm-hmm. So I would suggest we let the selectmen consider whether they want to move it forward.
I may move to call for a vote on
Okay.
the motion.
Any further comments, consideration, issues, concerns? Okay. For those in favor of approving the motion, please indicate by raising your hand. That is 4 of us. Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Etter. Good. Okay, so shall we rely on you, Mr. Burke, as a member of the Board of Selectmen, to relay that to the selectmen?
I will relay it at my
Good.
next report at our next meeting, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Appreciate your bringing the thought to us. Okay, now, on our agenda, we would next go into executive session. Now, Mr. Zolito, I want to confirm first with 17-013. Did we send the property owner a notice that we were going to consider whether or not there's a blight condition on that property, and indicate that the property owner ought to attend today to to participate in that consideration?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Did we get a green card back or
yes,
anything?
we did.
Oh, good, okay. Have you heard anything from that property owner?
No, not at all. No.
Okay.
No.
So I don't think we need to go into, well, we have no, no property owner here. So we should consider whether or not we want to proceed with a finding of blight. Mr. Solito, can you refresh our memory as to the nature of the potential blight?
This is 17-013.
Right.
Would you like me to scroll through to put the pictures up, recent
Yeah, if you
pictures?
think you can get to it.
Still here?
The,
Okay.
Last meeting, I think we talked about ABC 3 violation notices and not at all.
Three,
Correct, yes. They were, yes, they'd been given 3 notices, and actually, they attended the two of the hearings, but are not here for this one. This is 17-013. Is that correct? I'm sorry.
013, yes.
Got it,
Yes.
okay. Yes, they had received a notice for today as well, are not here.
I think it's fair to reflect that in the past, we have heard from them that they have a title issue, that there are numerous heirs of the original property owners, and on the demise of the property owners, it has descended to a lot of heirs.
This is the same one that had the truck on the side.
With a
Yeah,
car.
this is,
But that was, you're going back a long time ago. They've attended 2 meetings.
Yes.
They said I thought they last found everybody,
Except one, I think. I think that was the story at the time.
but it would seem, it seems to be impossible to go on this long without being able to find out who.
Well,
Well-
and even if that is the issue, like, I think we'd asked this question, they were paying property taxes, right?
I believe they were, yes.
So, I mean, this is
My
really,
recollection.
the fact that the ownership may stop them from selling the property,
Yeah.
but that doesn't stop them from maintaining the property.
No, I think it's an economic issue, but. So, Mr. Solito, specifically from your perspective, what are the blight concerns?
well, you have vegetation that's encroaching on the house, as you can see in the picture. You will see the vines growing up the front toward the front porch and along the back as well. You also have a deterioration of the front stairs, and the front porch and the front porch roof are sagging, so structurally it's becoming unsound.
We also talk about the fact that it's right near the children, where the schools are, and kids can find out about this and go in there, there could be, so we talked about a fence, and they said, no, it's too expensive to put up a fence. So there were a lot of issues concerning this thing, but I would think, I mean, first of all, the property is probably very valuable too for commercial purposes or whatever, and that they could have sold it, a long time ago, but I think we have a lien against the property now, don't we?
No, we do not.
We do not? Well, I
No.
think it's
That's the
time-
purpose of this discussion.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's time to put a lien against it. I've been here, well, I don't know, a year more or so,
Yeah.
and we've been talking about the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah?
Are we fining them?
No,
That's
we
also
are,
for today.
at this meeting, if you so wish to vote to go to a notice of determination of blight. And that's the first step toward
And give them 30 days, and if
Yes.
it's not cured in 30 days, then the fines.
So,
accrue.
sorry, but so it says the complaint was from 2018,
Yes,
and we're potentially today in 2022.
Right, for 2 years, they've attended 2 meetings
Yeah,
and given the same excuse over
Yeah,
and
yeah.
over again.
yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
so we have given them some slack, there's no doubt
Yes.
about it.
We've given them lots of slack.
Lots of slack. Yep.
Yeah, so
I think
Um,
we should take the action immediately, I really do.
I agree.
Okay.
Because
Yep.
it's in a high-trafficked area, and there's real potential, I think, for some damage.
And I'll just note that we do not know what's going on in the back of that house, but it wouldn't be hard for other people to walk in the back. We can't do that without trespassing, but, so, okay. Let's see, then I think a motion is in order. Somebody want to move it? Go ahead, Mr. Burke. Moving that we find those particular issues that constitute blight, that the property owner will be given notice to remedy those issues within the next 30 days, and if not, then fines will accrue. We can stop there. What would the fine be? Does anybody want to, yeah, it can be
$100.
$10 to 100, just so you know.
$100.
$10 a day, because, we've gotta get them to sell this property, because they could sell, if they sold that property, they could pay up any fine.
I agree with you. Okay. So $100 a day beginning if the blight issues have not been remedied after 30 days, or they have, I think they, is there a right to appeal to us? Well, let's not get into that. They can find that out for themselves, but, okay, is that motion clear enough for you, Mr. Etter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Further comments, questions, concerns? Then those in favor of the motion, please indicate that is unanimous. Thank you. That will proceed apace. And we also, I believe, Mr. Solito, will you confirm that as to file 7019, we were issuing a notice to the property owner of potential blight issues? And
Correct.
encouraged or invited or told the property owner to be here this evening to participate in the hearing as to the determination of the blight. And that notice did go out?
correct, it did.
Did we get a green card back?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, so in the absence of the property owner, could you, I see the picture is up on the screen. But from your perspective, Mr. Solito, what are the specifics of the blight complaint?
The vegetation is overgrowing again. You can see that's visible on the left side of the image. There's a better location, or better photo.
How recent is this photo?
Pardon me?
How recent is this photo?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
These were yesterday, yes. And you can see there's just an accumulation of things that are just are continuing. You see the moss and everything on the front roof and the.
Is moss an item of?
It is, it's
blight?
part of vegetation that's
Okay.
growing. It's one of the items, is
Okay.
vegetation growing on the structure.
Okay.
You could see at that point the rear of one of the unregistered vehicles, that one as well.
Mhm.
I will scroll back to a photo. That white vehicle that's in the center there is also not registered.
Yeah,
And we'll go forward.
it appears to be trash, debris, simply
Yes,
on the
yeah.
driveway.
Well, we've given them 2 dumpsters at this point.
Yeah, yeah,
We the fact.
and I believe they filled them.
Yeah.
And, it was starting to get cleaned up, and I've passed there, and there's more stuff coming out.
Yeah.
It's just, it just seems that this has gone on for longer than I have lived. So.
Okay, you are a young man, I know, but okay.
And I understand it's a young woman, it's not an old woman who's in need or anything like this, and I think it's run its course. I think we need to do the same thing here.
Yeah.
We need to start accruing fines here.
Okay, that sounds like a motion to find those particular items that Mr. Solito just itemized constitute blight, and that the property owner will be given 30 days to remedy those issues, and any other items I would hope would be cleaned up as well. But those are the specific items: vegetation, debris, unregistered car. Am I missing
I
anything?
think we talked about the car on the street and that it wasn't hers and.
Yeah, it's
she didn't
unregistered.
know
Need the
what
title.
So let me just finish the motion, so Mr. Etter can get this.
Yeah.
So that they have 30 days to remedy those conditions of blight, and if they do not, within 30 days of the notice, whatever the date of the notice will be, then fines in the amount of $100 per day will begin to accrue. Is that your motion, Mr. Lamont? Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Burke. Any further comments, questions, concerns? Those in favor of that motion, please indicate by raising your hand. That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay.
One question, sorry, I should ask before.
Sure, go ahead.
If she happens to reach out to me, I should offer her another dumpster, right?
Yes, sure.
We have funds for that if she wants it.
You have funds for it?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, at what point do you stop offering her dumpsters?
No,
Yeah.
that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah. Well, do it again, but she's really, there's a 30-day time frame, and her use of the dumpster would not stop those fines from accruing. We can ameliorate them later, perhaps, but,
So I'll wait to see if I hear from her.
okay, good, thank you. All right then, Mr. Solito, back to regular order, if you would, through your
Okay.
list.
It's very good. Case number 17-011. You will see the first photos up. These again, all photos were taken yesterday, 9/13. The fines are continuing to accrue. There is a lien filed already with the town clerk. And this was conditions as of yesterday. His vehicles there haven't moved recently. I'm not sure about the registration status. I believe that the brown vehicle is still registered, but you could see that the vegetation in the front and all sorts of things are still
Yeah.
scattered throughout the,
That scaffolding looks
yes.
very attractive to youngsters who might like to climb. Anyway, okay. So, any doubt in your mind that there is still blight?
No, it's still there, I
On
believe,
that property,
yes.
okay. And we don't need to take any action unless the board wishes.
At this point, it's still accruing, it is
Yeah.
still accruing fines, and I believe the last lien was done in May, so.
Okay, good. All right, next. Unless there are any,
Okay, the next one will be 18-002. Give me a second to get to. Okay, right there. Again, fines are continuing to accrue with this property. It is still being occupied by a, I don't want to say tenant, but there.
holdover,
Yes,
the property was foreclosed.
previous, yes. I did receive a copy of a document that stated that he was given, by a judge, was given another stay, granted a stay until December 31st.
This is from like an eviction?
Yes.
So this
Yeah,
has
this
nothing
is-
to do with the fines or the blight?
No.
No.
No, but
Bank owns it.
the bank won't do anything until, while the person's there, or they won't attempt,
Right.
to get permission to do anything while the owner's there. I know that they can. We've had other properties where the new ownership has, even though it's being illegally occupied, has gotten permission from a judge to remedy, especially since this is all outside, to remedy exterior issues. The bank isn't choosing to go that route right now.
because there's a holdover in there. The property's
There
been
is.
foreclosed, they have the bank has the property, they're not gonna cure the blight because they don't wanna send some third party to take care of the outside stuff while there's somebody living on the inside.
That's their opinion, yes.
Might only entice the holdover to stay. Do you have any other photos of that property, Mr.?
Yes, we do,
Just-
yeah.
So the issues of blight continue?
Oh, just overgrowth, everything is growing up, is up against the property. There's no evidence that, in previous photos, there's, shingles are rotting and falling off the side. There's, some of the windows have rotted out as well.
You had 4 photos here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, those from the previous, yes, prior to, yeah, you go, any of the previous photos that we've had, issues show that it's,
Good, good. I just wanted, for the record, the first photo didn't look all that serious, so I wanted to
Yes.
show some others.
absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
Nothing further for us to do on that one then?
No.
Are we equating holdover tenants with illegal occupants?
Doesn't really matter to us, I don't think. We deal with the property owner, who will be responsible for the fines.
But what you're saying is, Bob, the notice that you received is that person will probably stay in place till the end of this December.
Yeah.
Yes,
So that we would
He got
anticipate
permission.
no changes until that point in time.
that's what I would anticipate, yes. Whether he leaves earlier, I don't know, but he has permission to stay until the 31st.
Okay. All right, thanks. Next.
Okay. Next one is 18-004. Again, fines are continuing to accrue now
It's a lot of pallets.
for, yes, it's almost 3 years now.
Which one you looked at? 18?
004,
Oh, 004.
yes.
I've watched that, sorry.
Yes. This is,
I've seen this property
Yes.
myself, and I see a lot of construction equipment around there.
yes, he's been doing that. The owner's been doing that. These pictures, again, taken yesterday, you could see the piles
Mr.
of
Lamont?
skids.
Mr. Limot, did you say you thought this was on watch status? It's,
And that's what.
no, it's well beyond
I
that.
thought I saw it in the last meeting.
No, it's well beyond that. This is, 2 liens have been filed against this property now.
Yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, I just noticed this construction and the skids and things like
Yes.
that. And it's not as bad as it used to be with the boats and everything else there, but it's taking an awful.
There's boats
long
right
time.
there.
Yeah, the boats are
Yes,
still there.
yes, it just seems that things are just being moved around.
Shipping containers?
The storage containers, piles of,
I don't know if he's running a business out of there or what.
Boats are still there, yeah.
yes, yes.
I didn't notice that.
So this property, as we say, it has probably nearly 6 figures in fines have accrued since we first started accruing fines. This prompted discussion of the foreclosure.
Correct.
Whether we're interested in moving forward with foreclosures and how we would do it. And we did inquire of counsel. Attorney Fox replied to that. I hope you all got his memo. Just so it's clear, we could ask, or we could suggest to the Board of Selectmen that they may want to proceed with a foreclosure, but it would be for the selectmen to make that determination. In authorizing the Blight Prevention Officer, Mr. Solido, who would actually, I gather, have his name attached to any such foreclosure action, and move that forward. So we don't have authority to do that, but we can suggest it, encourage it, ask for it, whatever you want to call it. And I suppose the reverse is true. If we heard the selectmen were going forward, we could have said, well, please don't do that. But that's not our position here. Any interest in further motion or discussion on that topic here?
I mean, I would be in favor of a motion to recommend to the Board of Selectmen that they consider a foreclosure action on this property. There's really nothing, left for us to do with it. And as you say, the fines have reached a rather staggering proportion with no indication of interest on the property owner in resolving these. So I think this is a good candidate. I mean, the board can act as they wish, but I think I would be in favor of making such a motion.
I agree.
Okay. Just taking a census, Mr. Washek, any sense?
No, I mean, I think, no strong sense one way. I think, I guess my hesitancy, and if that's the right word, is, I think, I read the materials from Attorney Fox. I guess I would almost feel we should invite the homeowner in. Now, I realize you all have been dealing with this particular case a lot longer, and as I kind of work through my thinking, of course, that said, we're not actually foreclosing, we're just making the suggestion that the town selectmen do so, and of course, they would presumably listen to the homeowner if he wanted to make his case, so I think I've talked myself into it.
Okay. Mr. Lamold, any thought you'd like to share?
I didn't quite hear what you said.
I support making the motion.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just, kind of going through my reasoning in my head, because I probably would have thought more about it if we had it on as an agenda item, and not to say it should have been, but I'm kind of thinking
I
through it
didn't
here.
realize things were being moved around, so it looked different. But
Yeah, it does, he took a, neatened, if you want to, neatened, just put the things are still there, he just put things in a line.
I see.
But just, I did some quick calculations, is the fines to date are about 109,000.
190,000.
No, 9, right?
109.
109.
109,000.
And just for the record, the specific items of blight that you would highlight at this point?
Oh, was the unregistered trailers, boats, shipping containers. There were piles of construction debris. There was discarded motor vehicle parts, motorcycle parts on the property. That's
The structure itself, the house, I guess, is, well, it's got peeling paint anyway, but.
yes.
Yeah.
There's still not a building permit taken out for it, so that's why we're still fining, because there's
Right.
not an active building permit on the property.
And the storage structures, this evergreen thing, I know, well, you know, people do put storage units on their house while they're moving or renovating and whatnot.
Correct, and I believe that's where if a building permit viable building permit were taken on the property, he could make a case for the fact that storing building materials, equipment in them, but with, going through this with some of the attorneys in the past, because this has been a long-standing
Yeah.
thing that the storage containers aren't,
Since 2018,
Yeah.
4 years.
Storage containers are not appropriate
for
there
residential, yes, for a residential area.
without some kind of permit or other.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sounds like you're gonna have a business, a separate business that he's running.
Yeah.
Just using it in the storage area.
I am not, I do not know what his motives are
No,
for that,
no, we
I'll be
don't.
honest with you.
Okay.
So you don't want to pursue calling them in?
No, I don't. think
I
that's necessary.
agree, but I just wanted to highlight that. We've tried before, we've served him in hand, after service in hand, he'll come in and say, I never got it. So, yeah, if this proceeds, it'll be a battle royale, I'm sure. So, the language of our motion is are we suggesting, requesting, are we informing that there would be an appropriate property? What are we doing in particular?
I think the motion would be removed to recommend to the Board of Selectmen that they consider initiating a foreclosure proceeding in this case.
Okay, a recommendation. All right,
And I would make a motion in that form.
that you can second his.
Second is.
Okay. All right. Any further questions, comments? All right. Those in favor of the motion, please indicate. That's unanimous. Thank you. Okey doke. Mr. Solito, next.
Okay, next one we have 18-005. Pardon me, I'm sorry. This one's just a little confusing. I have been talking back and forth with Attorney Bernie about the second notice because of the newly found violations in the rear of the property.
Mr. Bernie being our counsel.
Yes, and we're going forward with how the attorneys feel like they want to add to either the initial violation notice or to issue a second, which would then also mean twice the fines. So they would not be combined so that everything would be added into one, but would be a separate action. And they're discussing that. However, there has been no movement on on fixing up the property.
Right.
And you can see the growing season has gotten hold of
Yeah.
the front yard. Again, nothing's been touched, none of the other issues. The rotted fascias in the front stairs are rotting, the large cracks in the foundation.
I think there's still a motorcycle or something else in the back.
There is in the back, there is a huge trailer. There's
Trailer.
what appears to be abandoned kayaks and canoes, and there is a motor vehicle back there. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
This is the person who was going to wait for the cleanup season.
Right.
Yes.
In the winter, he wasn't gonna do anything till the winter, but
The
he's
spring.
done nothing.
Right. No,
He told us in the winter he'd do something in the spring.
We're dealing with
Maybe you meant next spring.
Right.
playing games with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
Well-
he's already being accrued fines. At this point, they're effective May 22nd fines commenced effective January 1st of this year. He has been accumulating fines, and we're still waiting for I believe the attorneys to get back as to how they want to handle this second one. But right now, the first notice of violation is stretched out to that point.
All right, so we've got the $100 a day
Yeah, times it,
accruing.
yeah.
If we did do a second one, we could reduce the fine on the second one so we're not charging $200 a day. But we have not issued a notice to him or the property owner to come in and have a hearing on whether or not there is blight, right? We have not done that.
The last one was, forgive me, my eyesight's going. Well, we did send him one to attend in July July
Oh, we
meeting.
did?
Yeah, and he did not attend.
Oh, and did we then find the blight?
Well, this was the second one that
Yep.
we're dealing with. At that point, he didn't attend, and you would advise to go ahead with the notice of determination of blight. And
Okay.
that's where we're with the
That's the second
attorneys.
notice, okay.
Correct,
All right, then we'll leave that to you and council to,
yes,
whenever the 30 days begins,
Mhm.
will be your issue.
yes.
And after the 30 days, $100 a day. We fixed $100 a day on that one too, I guess, yeah.
If that's what yeah.
Can we do that, actually?
Well, that's what they were debating, that's what the attorneys were debating over, whether or not they would combine the actions into one or have a totally separate action, since they are different violations in the second one, whether or not they could do a totally separate action, which would then denote a second set of fines instead of combining.
I understand the logic behind it.
Yeah.
I'm just legally, I'm wondering if you've given the guy a blight, thing, he's paying the fine $100,000, and I'm just not sure we're on legal standing here.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll be resolved by council, but my 2 cents in that, when you're talking to council, is just make it one case. Why overcomplicate it? I don't think we're gonna have any more influence over charging $200 a day as opposed to $100 a
Yeah,
day.
there are some violations where you get fined per count.
Yeah,
In that case,
okay.
you could see where more counts would be bigger fines, but this is just, as long as blight exists, it's,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
$100 a day.
If
Okay, I
anybody
will pass that along.
disagrees or,
I agree with you.
yeah, okay. All right, for what it's worth, council will,
Because he
Control.
could wind up extending this thing longer.
yeah.
With legal action and things like that. You
Right.
can't do that to me,
Right.
You do, just so, he finds we're accruing from January 1st, so I don't know
Good.
what you,
Okay.
in terms of if wanting to.
File a lien?
File a lien, I'm just pointing that out.
While you're talking to council, why don't you get that done too,
Okay.
right? Anybody, I
For
guess we
this.
should have a vote. Mr. Washek, would you make the motion that we have council prepare a lien for
I will make
fines
that.
accrued to date?
I will make that motion.
Thank you. Anybody want to second that? Thank you, Mr. Burke. Comments, current questions? Those in favor, please indicate by, thank you, that's unanimous. Okay, so you can do that. Thank you.
Okay.
What do we got?
Moving on, the 21-001. Again, this is no contact for owner. It turns out the neighbors began to mow the front property. So it didn't look as bad, but they just did the front, you could see at this point. There's still the overgrowth on top of the roof there.
Yeah,
And the bushes are just growing up and against the side of the property. This is the best shot I could get of the back. You can see the back has just been unkempt. It's just, the grass is folded over itself at this point.
right.
Hoses, I could not get a picture of, this is the side of the property. It's all overgrown. The garage is still open, where the doors are falling down and access into the garage is still available, unfortunately,
Really?
for kids to
Yeah,
go in and
yeah, okay.
make mischief, which is what they
There's a
want.
picture here.
There is one that I had taken in the past. There was a car that was parked.
No,
I
no,
couldn't
no,
get the
look,
camera around to the
This
front.
is not the same house.
No,
What's-
no.
That's from something else.
Yes, that's something else. That's the last one. But there was previous pictures taken that show the garage door still open. So everything is still there.
Okay,
Kathy in tax actually told me that she's been trying to get in touch with the person as well, because there are tax liens on the property as well now, and she's been unsuccessful in
Hmm.
getting in touch with them as well, the executors of the
Can I ask a
estate.
question that's not necessarily for this property, but I'm just curious. So when you were taking these pictures and you said before, like, you can't go on the property to take
Right.
the picture, do you know, like, and I'm not suggesting you would do this, but look, I have one. Could you fly a drone over someone's property? Like, what's the law say? Do you know, like, how that works?
It's trespass.
Well, is it, like,
no, I would,
I mean,
privacy issues.
That's a legal
Yeah,
question.
don't know.
don't know.
No, no.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that fly drones
Exactly.
over
It's like
properties
I-
all the time.
Going it from my house to the third, three houses over, it's going
Yeah.
over someone's house, but I just,
When I first joined here, I did that.
Did
He
you?
said, oh, you shouldn't do that.
Really? Oh, yeah? Oh,
I went
okay.
back in the house to look.
Interesting.
Well, that's an interesting question. for
Yeah, it
attorneys,
is.
too.
I don't know what altitude you might have to be.
Yeah, okay,
let's
so
not go
sorry
there
for the
now.
tangent,
That's
but-
all right. Interesting.
No, it's very,
All right, but we have fines accruing. A lien has been
Yes.
filed. so
yeah, yes, exactly.
Much more.
Fines have been accruing there since, let's see, fines, there's already been a lien. Yeah, December was they started, and there's already been a lien filed
Okay.
in June, so
Yep.
we're okay with that.
Mr. Riley, will you continue to take the notes?
Oh, yes, if Mr. Washeka won't.
Yeah, no, I can't, well, I don't have a pen.
Need a pen? There, you can, I'm happy to give up my pen for that. Thank you, Mr. Ryder, appreciate your help.
And I'll see the rest of it on TV.
Something to look forward to. Good,
No,
good.
we could talk about you now.
That's all right. All right, so next
Well,
is,
we haven't talked about it.
Not yet,
That was
no.
the picture that I had.
Yes,
sent in.
correct.
all right, what's up?
Okay, next one. This was just, we had mentioned this at the last meeting, 22-001.
Oh.
The Veterans Organization came in and cleaned up
Did they?
the property,
Excellent.
and it's there. I just wanted to show
That's
the
awesome.
picture and stuff there.
Oh my gosh,
Related
it's so
to,
much better.
Wow, that's awesome.
related to Habitat for Humanity, was it?
No, it's a veterans, he's a
Oh.
World War II veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
awesome.
forget the name of the organization, but, yeah.
That's
and they
great.
took it all away free
It-
of charge.
Inside too? Did they clean up inside or?
I don't think the inside was a problem
Oh.
here. There was just
Yeah, that's
there were
all.
two abandoned
That's the picture.
vans, work vans, and a bunch of other junk that was primarily in the
Terrific.
driveway.
That's great.
But everything, the lawn's been cut, everything's been cut and trimmed and everything.
Terrific.
Wow.
And I
Okay,
just wanted to mention that.
yep, 16001?
Next thing, that one, I put drop down to the bottom because that one's still being maintained. And
Okay,
it's just staying on watch until, I guess, the property, I think you would ask to keep it on watch until the property comes to some determination. It's still vacant, and
Oh, it's vacant?
it's vacant, but they've been maintaining. Just in case at some point they stop maintaining or there's an issue with the house deteriorating, it's still kind of on our radar here.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry, this guy's still alive, right?
Yes, I believe
He's
so,
vacant.
yes.
You say it's vacant?
The house is vacant, yeah, he no longer
He's no
lives
longer
there.
living there.
No. Any conversations I've had with his younger daughter.
Okay, and
Yeah.
the veterans and the people, they're doing a great job. But the question is, what's the plans for the house? Are they gonna sell it?
well, that's not
We're
our
not-
concern.
Yeah, we're not looking at this house.
Yeah.
This is one that's on the bottom, it's 16-001. There's no pictures of that.
Oh.
That's one we've had on since, actually, one of the first ones, 2016. But they had accrued some fines. There is technically a lien on the property. The fines are no longer being accrued because the daughters of the owner have gone in and started maintaining the
Yeah.
property. So there's no longer an issue.
Oh,
But
okay.
we're just keeping it there because it is vacant and it's still in the same ownership, just in case something happens, we're just leaving it on watch.
Are you talking about 16001 now? or-
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, good.
You
Yeah.
kind of skipped from the
Okay.
one with the veterans. but-
Speaking of having skipped, since we started on 17-013, we skipped 17-011, I believe. Maybe you
No, I
can
think
cover
we
that
talked-
real quickly.
No, we
did that.
We did.
Did you? Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'll read the minutes. We're doing fine. Good. Anything else? Any other business? Very productive and timely. Okay. Mr. Washeka moved, Mr. Lamont seconded, Mr. Burke and I, and everybody made it unanimous. We're adjourned. Thank you.